You know that feeling when you're looking at an old photograph and you can almost feel this whole story behind it, even if you don't know all the details? Well, that's exactly what Shirley Tolson's incredible poem, A Photograph, is all about. So today, we're going to dive into how this one single image becomes this powerful container for memory, for time, and for the really deep silence that comes with loss.
The poem kicks off with this incredibly simple line. Just listen. The cardboard shows me how it was. Did you catch that? Cardboard. She doesn't just say photograph. She says cardboard. Right away you can feel it, can't you? It's not just some digital image. It's a physical thing. Something you could actually hold in your hands. Something that's maybe a little faded, a little worn out around the edges. Just by using that one word, the poet basically hands us this memory and says, here, take a closer look.
All right, section one is all about a moment frozen. We're starting by jumping right inside the photograph, looking at this one happy moment that's been captured forever. So what are we looking at? Well, it's a classic family beach picture, you know the type. Right there in the middle, that's the poet's mother. She's just a kid, maybe around 12 years old, and she's holding hands with her two younger cousins, Betty and Dolly. Oh, and the person taking the picture, that's their uncle, behind the camera, getting the shot. It's just a perfect, totally happy moment. You can almost feel that sea breeze, can't you? The poem says they stood still to smile through their hair. I love that line. And the poet really focuses our attention on her mother's sweet face. Think about that for a second. This is a face from a time before the poet was even born. It's this really powerful reminder that she's looking at a piece of her mother's life that she can never, ever truly know. She can only get these little glimpses through this old fading photo.
So this poem is way more than just one moment in time. It's actually a journey through three different stages. First, you've got the past. That's the beach holiday in the picture. Then, bam, we jump forward about 20 or 30 years and we see the mother remembering that exact day. And then finally, we land in the present, where the poet is remembering her mother. It's like a memory inside of another memory, inside of yet another memory. It's pretty incredible.
Okay, so you've got this really human scene, right? The three girls, the uncle. But then the poet does something really clever. She shifts our focus to something totally different, the sea. She points out that the sea is the one thing that appears to have changed less. And that one simple observation, it's setting the stage for the poem's biggest, most heartbreaking idea. And boom, here it is, that big idea, delivered in just 5 absolutely devastating words. The huge, unchanging sea washed their terribly transient feet. Transient, that word is everything here. It just means temporary, fleeting. It's an image that just sticks with you, right? This eternal, massive ocean washing over these tiny human feet that are only here for such a short time.
I mean, the contrast is just so stark, it couldn't be clearer. On one side, you have the sea. It's permanent, it's unchanging, it's always there. And on the other side, you've got human life. Transient, fleeting, temporary. This tension, this push and pull between the two, is literally the engine that drives this whole poem forward.
Okay, on to section 2, a laughter remembered. So now we're jumping forward in time. We're not in the photo anymore. Instead, we're in a memory of the photo. We're listening to an echo of that joy from many, many years later. And the poem makes this time jump super clear. It says some 20, 30 years later. I mean, that's a whole generation gone by. The little 12-year-old girl from the photo, she's now a mother herself, and she's looking at this same exact snapshot, but now she's with her own child, who is, of course, the poet writing all of this. And what's so cool is that we actually get to hear her voice. The poet shares this memory of her mom laughing at the picture, saying something like, "See Betty and Dolly, and look how they dressed us for the beach." You can just hear the warmth in that, can't you? That gentle fun poking at the old clothes, at her own childhood. It's this really beautiful, shared moment of nostalgic happiness. And this is where the poem gets so beautifully complicated. That one photograph is now holding two totally different pasts at the same time. Think about it. For the mother, the past is that sea holiday. That's her memory. But for the poet, her lost past is the sound of her mother's laughter as she looked at the photo. Wow. It's just a perfect example of how memories can be layered, one on top of the other. The poet describes both of these past memories as being wry with the labored ease of loss. Wry. That's such a fascinating word choice here. It's this complex feeling, right? It's a mix of dry humor, but also a little bit of sadness or disappointment. It's that bittersweet feeling you get when you look back on something amazing that you know is gone forever. Both the mother and the daughter are feeling that same ache,
but for two completely different lost moments.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 3, the silence of loss. We're making one last jump in time right into the present, and you can feel the whole mood of the poem shift here. It gets a lot quieter, heavier. It's not about what's there anymore, it's about what's missing. The poem drops this line on us. The mother has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. Remember, the girl in the photo was about 12, so wow. The mother has been gone for about 12 years. That number, 12, is just chilling. It creates this perfectly balanced, devastating symmetry, doesn't it? 12 years of life in the photo, and now 12 years of absence. It's just brutal. So when the poet is faced with all of this, the old photograph, the memory of her mother's laugh, and now all these long, silent years without her, what's left to say? The poem hangs there for a moment. And of this circumstance, there is nothing to say at all. That's it. After digging through all of these layers of memory and feeling all that emotion, the grief is just too big. It's so absolute that words they don't work anymore. There's literally nothing you can say that can even begin to touch the finality of that loss. And then we get the final, unforgettable line of the poem. It's silence silences. This is so important. This isn't some calm, peaceful silence. No, this is an active, powerful thing. It's the silence of the photo, the silence of the past, the silence of death itself. And it's so powerful that it actively silences the poet. It just completely overwhelms everything. So let's pull it all together. We've traveled through these 3 stages of time, from that initial joy to the bittersweet memory, and finally to this profound sense of loss. So what's the big takeaway here? Why does this little poem about one single photograph stick with us so much? Well, it's because that simple piece of cardboard ends up being so much more, right? It becomes this vessel holding all those layered memories. It's a marker showing us how relentlessly time moves forward. It perfectly captures that bittersweet feeling of love and loss. And in the end, it stands for the deep, heavy silence of absence. This poem shows us how a totally ordinary object can hold the entire weight of a human life. And that really brings us to the final thought, doesn't it? The real magic of this poem is that it makes us think about our own lives. It makes you think about that shoebox full of old photos you have somewhere, right? Your own fading memories. So the question the poem kind of leaves hanging in the air is this one. What photographed in your own life holds a powerful story of time and loss? What different layers of memory are tucked away inside?
Prepared by K. Rajendra Prasad.